It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabe Brand. As always, I have the beautiful ladies with me. Hi, ladies.
Good morning.
It's Tuesday. Oh, we have a guest co-host in our midst. Hey, Treasure.
Good morning.
What's your name, eh? Do you have a local name?
It's sweet.
It's too sweet. My name is Treasure. You have a local name?
Yeah, Chizaram, which means God answers me.
Oh, Chizaram. I actually like Chizaram. Very nice. I've never heard. Chizaram.
That's how you call it.
Sound like cheese. Is it cheese? Hey, cheese. Hi, cheese.
Hi, butter.
I'm sure you've done that before.
I've gotten that before.
Good to have you on the show,
Thank you
Treasure.
very much for having me.
Hey, you. Tops to tops. How was your weekend?
Yes,
we saw you yesterday now.
Yes, you saw me yesterday. So I wore my honorary Lions pin today. I forgot it yesterday. But I'm really, really happy. I'm very excited.
Children are going on maternity. I tell maternity, they're going on meeting.
I'm not happy about that, but I found this because really, not that I don't want to spend time with them, but like I have to be on the show and I want to supervise what's going on in my studio. So I'm not really, really excited about the fact that I would have to find out, I need to engage them one way or the other over the next 3 days. But today's show and tell, which is where my kids get to talk about their projects. And I've been trying to prepare him to say, my name is Daniel. And he's like, my name is Daniel. I said, no, I am a speaker. I need you to speak up slowly, boldly. He said, my name is Daniel. Like, I've already said, like, it's been a bit of challenge to let him, like, calm down, deliver the word.
You know, I have the same challenge with my daughter, and I'm doing every day. We wake up in the morning, I said, repeat after me, I am smart. I am confident. I mean, she say it out, I'm bold. You know, so somehow every day, and she's enjoying it. And it's helping her to speak. So last night we had our practice. She was confident.
No, you don't get it. He just talks fast.
Yeah, right.
So he just mumbles all the words.
Who do you blame?
I talk fast.
Exactly.
All right. How you doing?
Leave them alone, Daddy.
Obiajele, how you
I'm
doing?
doing great. I'm doing amazing. I had a catapult. We're coming. I had a wonderful weekend. We had this church concert, choir concert in my church, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it was good. I was exhausted, and I decided to rest yesterday. So
nice.
I'm better now. And my song is due to be released on the 1st of November.
Yeah, that's on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
Please,
you.
we have to blow. Please clap for our guys. We must blow this year. This year, we must blow. Auntie Treasure, you know you're the one in the dating scene, Abi. How you doing? How's life in that sector?
Well, life in that sector is fine.
Fine.
Very fine.
All right. What do you do for fun? Tell people about yourself. We don't know much about you.
My name is Treasure, and I'm an actor and a broadcaster. Okay. And for fun, I like to see movies, which is also sort of related to work because I act movies.
Oh, right.
Yes. And then I like to see movies. I love to read books. I write poetry too. Oh, and from the comments I've been getting from people who read my poetry, I'm good at it. So.
You can actually write rap lyrics for me, right?
Yeah, I've written rap lyrics in the past. Let me just give you some. You got no. Let me say.
Knuckle touch before you go ahead.
Okay.
You have business.
I wrote this rap like 4 years ago. Yeah. So it's we really gotta love one another, care for each other together. We storm that weather, the house forever. We gotta be the mother, father, brother, sister, auntie, uncle that we've always needed to.
Please don't come and shine. I'll shine our badge here.
Yeah,
please. I'm complimenting. Okay. But I gotta ask you this, you know, because you come across as smart, intelligent, beautiful. Do guys get intimidated around you? Like?
Yeah, that happens a lot. But occasionally, I'm blessed with that one guy that sees me as a blessing.
Oh, so you're dating somebody?
Yes, I am.
Oh
my God, did I just say that on national television?
We actually want to be to everybody.
No, come on, she's got somebody.
This cannot be in the market.
Yeah.
It's good that you take it. Please, just
People
stay.
like this, like me, how am I?
You're on point.
Prim and proper.
You shouldn't be in the market like that. Also, all the men in the studio, they're all staring. She's shaking. Let us go on a break. Yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll look at the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're going to start with the Punch. Governors hold emergency meeting today over minimum wage. Picture here, 189 die as Indonesian plane crashes into the sea. Accidents young shall grow asked to compensate victims' families. Buhari's government is corrupt. says Adeoti-Alao. Ex-Efren bosses jailed for 30 years over Nigerian oil deal. Obasanjo, Yar'Adua, Jonathan did nothing on infrastructure, says Buhari. Fayemi mourns as shot Ekiti lawyer dies in hospital. Boards have no power to suspend CEOs of parastatal, says SGF. And APC 36 more reps may dump party before November 17th. So young shall go accident. I think
yes,
go ahead.
It's a new development on the accident that took lives, about 10 lives last week. So the Federal Road Safety Corps have invited the management of Young Shall Grow to Abuja, where they had to tell them that they are going to compensate families of the victims of the 10 people who died, compensate the families, and they will likely be prosecuted, the management and the driver.
I think it's the court that should decide if anybody should be compensated or how much compensation, because you can't just have a meeting and say compensate. I'll compensate with 10,000 naira.
They could decide without the court to settle out of court to avoid the litigation process, and an agreement can be reached as long as you have an arbitrator there that would between them.
Well, I hope so, hopefully, because we want the victims to have be properly compensated. Yeah. Let's take one more story, the Indonesian airplane crash. Who has that story?
Yeah, so the Indonesian airplane crash occurred in Indonesia, and about all the lives were lost. It crashed into an ocean, and then residents around that ocean noticed that there was fuel spillage, and they claimed human remains. It was a really sad
to get the human remains, and they told the families to come and identify the bodies. It's something that is very rare in this part of the world. Because it crashed right in the middle of the sea. So it was really impressive that they were able to retrieve the bodies.
Retrieve the bodies, and even though that airplane was said to have had 11,000 hours of air flight, but they were saying that it had never had a crash before, and that was just a rare occasion.
Wow, really sad.
It was pretty sad.
Let's move on to Vanguard. Death, blood as Shiite soldiers clash in Abuja. Fleeing old woman hits head on median and dies. More feared dead, others injured in Abuja. Ex-Lagos speaker, 49 others arrested over murder of policeman. Fayose regains freedom, vows to fight impunity. Nigeria ranks 33 out of 54 African countries in overall governance. Minimum wage FG governors divided over figure gives governors meet to brief EMT. NHIS federal government warns boards against suspending agencies' CEOs. Privatization better than borrowing to fund budget, says BPE. And Buhari has failed, but still better than Atiku, says Balarabe Musa. In that, which article? NHIS, go ahead.
Follow up on the NHIS story. Yesterday, the Secretary to the Federal Government of Nigeria, Boss Mustafa, gave a speech saying that board members appointed by the government have no right to sack a CEO, that they are occupying a privileged position, is a part-time position. He also declared to all board members that staff don't issue directives to staff without recourse to the chief executive officer, and thereby undermining the authority and creating disharmony amongst the personnel. Don't impose disciplinary measures against CEO without following the laid-down procedure. And generally, don't do actions that don't make utterances that will cause strife within the ministry you are supposed to be not governing. The word is that you're in service. It's a privilege for you to work part-time in service. And this was because of the NHIS board. Because even after the NHIS board was reinstated by the president, the board members sacked him. So we need to
I was going to actually take the article.
Have boundaries.
Buhari has failed, but still better than Atiku, says Balarabe Musa. Because Obi Ezekwesili was echoing the same thing. So pretty much what they're saying that we have to choose between two devils, according to Balarabe Musa and Obi Ezekwesili, that these are two people that are corrupt.
Obi was like, there's no option.
Yeah.
Obi said there was no option between both of them.
So the point is that but people must understand that there are options. Let's stop making A, B options. There are like
we have C,
6, 7,
we have
there's so many options. So don't let the papers make you think that it's just between Atiku and Buhari. No, it's not. There are more candidates, and we must begin to talk about them and realize that. Oh, I was going to take the Fayose story.
Yes, please.
My governor by marriage. After all the hula baloo by EFCC, hey, we arrest him, hey, the immunity, after immunity, we'll arrest, we'll do this. Anyway, they've arrested him. 2 weeks, they kept him in EFCC. Baga down, he has met all his bail conditions.
50 million.
After 2 weeks in custody of EFCC, and he's a free man, at least while the investigation is still ongoing. But the point is that he has done his part legally by submitting himself to the FCC, which is great, which is what a man of integrity should do. And that's a good leader. And you know, they're making Fayose look very, very interesting to us. Let's move on to Daily Sun. Scores feared killed in the Fresh Shiite army clash, several others injured, vehicles destroyed. How I was smuggled out of Nigeria, says Kanu. Igbo will produce Senate president, says APC state scribe. Alleged graft Fayose regains freedom. And Obasanjo, IBB, Kalu, others pay tribute to Aneni. Let's talk about the Shiite clash very quickly.
Yes, so members of the Islamic movement of Nigeria, known as the Shiites, continued their battle yesterday. Over 5,000 of them were protesting the release of their leader.
That's not what I read, though.
No, there are two accounts. Okay. One here, protesting the release of their leader. So they were trying to force themselves into Abuja, but then the police and the soldiers refused them and attacked them, according to the reports that I read, using force. So Amnesty International came out to condemn the Nigerian armed forces, that they shouldn't have used force on them. Yeah. They should
what I
allow
read in
them.
the papers was that it was actually a procession, an Arabian procession from Nasara. It was a morning procession from Nasara all the way into FCT. Yeah. And there was actually a peaceful procession.
Yes, it was.
And then they got there, the police, the soldiers are saying them to go back because they wanted to go into the city of Abuja. And they started throwing stones at the soldiers. And the soldiers obviously opened fire on them. And that's how the whole thing started. Now, should the soldiers have opened fire? That's something that's debatable.
Should you have thrown stones at the soldiers?
At the same time, so that's something that they need to address. Both parties are obviously at fault.
We shouldn't.
IPOP story, because I was wondering how Kalu escaped, and he said that he was smuggled out of the country. He said that the Operation Python dance by the military was to attack IPOB, and they came into his house and killed 28 people. And this he said during his interview to an Israeli TV station. And I was wondering, I mean, Nigeria here, I did not hear how 28 people died in an invasion of his house. He said they came into his room, and his people came into his room and smuggled him out before they got to his room to kill him. Wow. And he was able to leave the country. So
okay, let's move on now to Nigerian Tribune. What's the Nigerian Tribune saying? Security agent Shiite battle escalates shootout in Abuja. We have record of Buhari's WAEC certificate, says presidency. For real? 99th hour. Okay, Ezekosili on Buhari's government. Can corruption fight corruption? Accuses Atiku of alleged massive corruption. Labels Buhari as incompetent. No more indiscriminate allocations of votes at elections, says Buhari. Minimum wage, governors take position today. And Oyo approves payments of outstanding salaries. Let's talk about the minimum wage issue, yes.
About the minimum wage, they've been having a series of meetings, the federal government, the state governments, as well as the EMT. And the labor force is proposing minimum wage per month should be 30,000 naira. Federal government says, no, this isn't feasible. We have 25,000 naira. And then the state governments are coming with another story saying that they don't have the capacity to pay minimum wage of 30 or 25, that they have 20. 1,000 naira minimum wage.
A continuation of the same story. The Nigerian Governors Forum are having an emergency meeting today. 36 governors from different states are going to be present in person. And also
no representative
and stakeholders as well.
The meeting that was a decisive meeting. All right, that's all we can take on the newspaper headline. When we come back, as we wrap up the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we're going to talk to a survivor. Hopefully her story will urge you and encourage you to get tested, because early detection is key. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So as we wrap up the Breast Cancer Month, we have heard of different stories of how people survived cancer. But with us today is Olori, Olushola Adeoti. Her story is very peculiar. Today on the show, she'll be sharing her journey and challenges and rebirth. Welcome, Olori, to the Oba Francis Olushola-Alao. That's the correct one. Sorry about that. His Imperial Majesty, the Olugbon of Orile-Igbon in Oyo State. Welcome, ma, to the show.
Welcome.
This is the wife of the Oba.
Yes, so
Your Highness.
So your Royal Highness.
Your Royal
So you
Highness.
can call us on 070-80668014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. this whole month, at some point, we're talking about breast cancer, and it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. That's why we have our, the pin here to remind people that, listen, you have to get tested. But sometimes, until you hear stories, real stories of people's experiences, before you appreciate the importance of getting tested, I would like you to share with our viewers. Many know your story, but many others don't. Share with us how it started, how you found out, first of all, that you had cancer. And let's start with that story. They would now build up on that.
Okay. Thank you for having me on the show. How do I put it? My discovery, or the discovery, was actually by, I wouldn't say by error, because man is made of spirit, body, and soul.
Right.
And for some reason, at that particular time, my spirit was not at rest. And one of my daughters kept having nasty dreams, nightmares about her mom passing. And I started praying about that. And for some reason, the Holy Spirit kept nodding me to see a doctor. I thought I had done my medical check, everything is fine, so what's wrong? Obviously, there was something very wrong. So I decided to take my girls to the hospital for a checkup. We got there, the doctor asked if they've ever been checked. They said no. And the doctor said, okay, I'll use your mom as an experiment so that you know what to expect. And he started touching me, and my daughters were cringing. They're like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? And then he made a statement. He said, well, one breast seems a bit tender than the other breast. I think you need to see a breast doctor. You need to know. He said you need to do a scan. And he gave me a referral for a scan. I didn't take it, obviously, I didn't take it very serious because I thought I did my medical check in Nigeria and everything was good, all was clear. So I thought, okay, no problem. But my daughter kept reminding me, the scan. So I went a day before Christmas Eve. And they were all closed. So I was happy. I thought, yeah, good, I could go home. Good reason to go home. Apparently, one of the doctors happened to have forgotten her key, and she came back. And she said, oh, are you waiting to see someone? I said, I'm waiting for another appointment. She said, no, I'm here, I'll take you. So she took me, and she kept telling me, this was in the US. She would look at me and smile. Oh, don't worry, you're good.
And you know that,
it's going to be a wonderful Christmas. Are you having turkey? What's going on for Christmas? And I'm like, just do what you want to do and let me get out of here. I want to go home. So she did, and I left. 2 days later, I left the US to go to England, and I was just having fun, just having the fun of my life. And before I got into the new year, after the new year, when I got back to Nigeria, my secretary looked at me and was like, a few doctors have called from the US, and they say they need to talk to you urgently. What could be urgent? They sent a fax, they did everything. The long and short of it, I spoke to one of them, you have to see a breast specialist. Right. I'm like, what's a breast specialist? Said it's a medical doctor that specializes on breast. I'm like, oh, what a waste of time in medical.
Because of time, and we have to move, because obviously they found out that you had the cancer, you had to break it to your family. But I needed you to go into the fact that you're such a healthy person. You ate the right things, you did the right exercises, you did the right routine, you're a pastor, and you were constantly fasting. How does somebody like that have breast cancer?
Well, very unfortunate. I was talking to another doctor yesterday, and I told them it's like when you starve, you have a pet dog that you've spoilt, and then all of a sudden you starve the dog. No food, no water. Wouldn't the dog go wild? Obviously, the dog will go wild. A few of we pastors, and even people generally, Nigerians are very health careless. Like we do a lot of fasting, and when you starve the cells, one of them becomes very radical and just goes wild and wants to infect every other cell around it to ensure that they all go wild together.
Wow.
And very unfortunate, but that's what, no matter what you do, you have to take good care of yourself.
So, ma, we hear early detection is very important. That's why they teach self-examination. But reading up about you, the kind of cancer cells you had were in tiny dots and not lumps, which could have been overlooked or not seen with self-examination. So in your experience, what's the best way for people to check?
Once your eyes say over 30, not 40, a lot of people preach. In fact, we have seen people with 17-year-old breast cancer, 25. So once you're matured enough, start doing your check regularly. And don't just stop by the manual check of testing yourself. Make sure you have a mammogram done. That's extremely important. Once you're over 30, ensure you do your yearly mammogram. Watch what you eat. Be healthy. Stay alkaline. Don't just drink water. Put lemon. Stay healthy. Do all the necessary things. Eat right. Sleep right. Exercise. Do everything you know you can do to stay healthy.
So I hear that, and honestly, we've discussed this many years over, and we've had specialists say that it's really, they don't know the cause of cancer. It's really nothing about what you do, but you've lived through it. And I can see you rolling your eyes because you've lived through it. So you know there are things that, there's some food we could stay away from. Practically, what did you do? What was the lifestyle change that you made that you would advise us to start imbibing?
After the experience?
I will tell you, to be quite honest, when you're talking of lifestyle change, I didn't change anything.
Because you're already living right.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the truth. All I just make sure I do is I make sure I have my medical checks. I make sure I drink a lot of lemon, add it to my water. I take it in tea. I've always been a tea person. I'm still a tea person. You see, what is extremely important is that in all situations, God would always be God. No matter what you do.
So, Ma, people are scared to do their breast cancer check. In fact, most Nigerians are scared to check their true health status because many people believe that if you keep going to the hospital to check for something, you will surely find what you're looking for. So what is your advice to those people that are scared of going to check their health, on their health status, especially for breast cancer? What is your advice to them? What specific part of your experience can you share with them? Because I'm sure many of them are watching right now that will rapidly encourage them to get their health checked.
What you know should not kill you. To me, it should make you fight. Once you know the enemy, you have to deploy the right weapons to fight. What you don't know is what can kill you. That's the truth. So it's important that you know, and you know on time.
Okay. We're going on a quick break because now we've talked about you and how you discovered and all that. When we come back, how you managed it with family, especially your son who had a brain tumor which had to be removed, or no, which miraculously was healed. But we'll talk about it when we come back because I need to understand a lot of people have been diagnosed today, and it's affecting every part of their lives, family, work. When we come back, we're going to focus on how you managed those factors around you. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, you're the daughter of a business mogul, Chief Samuel Adedoyin. You're the former MD of City Express Bank. You discovered you had cancer whilst being the MD. You got into EFCC custody. You went through a divorce. You're a pastor in a church. And there were issues of the fact that, oh, she's getting the divorce, she's a pastor. All those factors
Around you.
around a woman who was battling to survive. How did you pass through that?
I had it all. Beautiful life. Well, grace. The Bible says my grace is more than sufficient. And when you know you're battling for life, you fight with every arsenal you have. And fortunately, being a pastor did help. And for the divorce, look unto Jesus, the author and finisher of your faith. And take your eyes off people. Close your ears.
And gossip.
And look unto Jesus. Try to do the right thing. It would be very challenging, and no doubt, or for me, it was very challenging. And at times I would think, God, would I survive all this?
Tell us about your son being diagnosed with brain tumor.
I said something. I said, we're body, spirit, and soul. Unfortunately for him, I think that was a spiritual problem. A spiritual problem in that he was a dreadlock human being. We didn't know. The Lord told us not to touch his
Dada?
hair.
That's what they
He
call
was-
Dada?
Yes.
Okay.
A Nazarene.
Nazarene.
You're not meant to cut his hair. Unfortunately, I traveled before I came back. Somebody did touch his hair. I didn't know, I don't want to mention names. And from there, it started like a small pimple. It became like a small boil to lime level, then to a tennis ball.
Oh my
And
goodness.
we now became, it kept growing.
At
We
what
now
age?
became, it was just a little over 3. And it now became a very big issue, like a big ball. And people would look at us, it's like, how could anybody be so wicked? How did you let him fall? Where did this come from? And well, we got to England. We went to Great Ormond Children's Hospital. I was there for 2 weeks. Fortunately for me, his doctor happens to be a lady that was very spirit-filled. And she looked at him and said, I'm not meant to say this, but you need prayers for this boy, and hope you don't mind if I pray along. And I said, wonderful, doctor. She says, you're a woman of spirit, so be strong. And immediately that brought home a message. So I ran back to Nigeria. I took him to Redeem Camp. I actually handed him over to Pastor Adiwe, and I prayed for his son to give me joy, not to give me sorrow, heaviness of heart. I can't handle this. Daddy, this is your child. I'm going home. And he's like, no, you're not. He
Laid
hands, he prayed, and he said, you need to take him home. I went to Mommy's office, and Mommy Gio said, listen, just take a white handkerchief, put it in warm water every morning, repeat the same prayer your daddy just prayed, and let's see. And later, it disappeared.
Wow.
Wow. Hey, I'm really touched because I understand being a pastor, and you know, people look at you like you have that connect with God. Now, while you were doing the chemotherapy, which you did for 6 sessions, at some point, the doctor said, this is it. Your body can no longer take the sessions. We're done. You can go home. More like go home and die. How did that affect you as a child of God? How did you feel abandoned by God?
I actually finished the 6 chemotherapies, and they said everything had failed. That was, you have to remember, research was not this good. It was 2006, and they had just discovered that there was hormone therapy, breast cancer, because now as of 5 years ago, they said there were over 98 different types of breast cancer. So there's AAA negative, AAA positive,
extensive research.
Yes, hormone, all sorts of breast cancer. So when I was told everything had failed, I said, great, at least an opportunity to go back home and have peace. And I knew the end was, okay, fine, it would come, it would come. I would go home to meet my maker joyfully, intact. And fortunately, Pastor Adiwe, God used him again. He laid hands, rebuked the cancer from the roots 2 days later, I went to the hospital and they were like, wow, all the oncologists, what did you eat? What did you drink? What happened? Where did you go? Who did you see? Who didn't you see? I told them I didn't do anything. God did it. So they kept me on the watch for another 10 years.
Your story is so inspiring. But I find there's a question most people want to ask out there. Where do you draw the line between consulting spirituality and doing medical? Because most people hear your story and feel like, I'm going to die in the church.
I'll go to consult department.
Yes, I will focus,
it
will touch me. And we miss out on the fact that you went through chemotherapy. And people just focus on, they'll forget the fact that you went to get your son checked up in an hospital. Yes, it might be spiritual, but where do we draw that line in this spirit, soul, body journey that we get treatment where we need it?
Well, the Bible says God has come to give you life and give you more abundantly. You have a responsibility. The responsibility of your life to sustain, to maintain, to upkeep it relies with you. It's a must. God would not come down to do that for you. That is where you draw the line. You have a responsibility. Your flesh, you have to protect the flesh. You have to nurture the flesh. You have to protect your flesh.
Get treated.
Do the right things. Medical, exercise,
Eating
everything
right.
you need
Let's
to do to stay well.
Let's come to the issue of how this cancer seems to destroy everything you've built. Because somebody will look at you and say, oh, you're the daughter over there doing,
have money.
You have money, you're rich, you go to London, America. But this thing sucked you dry. I mean, like, practically all your finances finished on this, on trying to find solution.
You know what is called, Yoruba is called cancer arun jejere. Jejere means it destroys everything gradually. Everything you have in life, gradually. Now, it's not about money. It's not just about money. It's about making sure that you take good care of your lifestyle. You see, we have to be very careful what we eat and how we eat. There is a video that I posted out a while ago. I said it's a good source of cancer. All these fake things, that's where lifestyle comes in. Over drinking. You don't like, when you eat chicken, for instance, you go to get the big chicken, you don't know the kind of chemicals, hormones that have been pumped, not just to preserve, to make it look right, beautiful, luscious, fat, so that when you grab it, you really have to, you have a battle, grab it. So, you see,
eat organic.
Apart from eating organic, in marketing, we do a lot of destruction by portraying things that are not as though they are. And that destroys. So we have to go back to the basics. Try as much as possible to stay away from, you said organic. Organic is good, but are you there? How do you know it's organic? If you can do your planting, do it. If you can do organic, do. But my own thing is whatever you eat, try to investigate it and know where it's coming from before you put it on your table.
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take more questions and tweets and phone calls. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. Trisha had a question for you on the break.
Yes, ma'am. So I was interested in knowing how your support system helped you in the healing process, because obviously there was chemotherapy, and from the research that I've made, chemotherapy sometimes is more painful than the thought of having cancer, than the cancer itself. You know, people lose part of themselves to the chemotherapy. So I was wondering, your support system, meaning the people that stood by you, people that
did you have one?
Did you have one, and how did it help exactly in your healing process?
Well, I did have a lot of support system. A lot of people stood by me. Like, for instance, when I opened my eyes in the hospital after the mastectomy, Mommy Jo was right there smiling down at me. Like, oh, yeah.
Welcome home.
To see. And then after that, my children were there. A lot of Christian sisters The church played a wonderful, wonderful role.
What happened to your husband?
My father, a lot of men at times can't take the challenge of seeing their wives go through pain. So they run away.
Do you think that led to your divorce?
Well, my divorce was a combination of a lot of things. My career went with the cancer, so many things, finances. It was quite a combination of so many things. I really can't say it's one particular reason.
Let me come to your life after this cancer, beating cancer and all that. Because a lot of people have gone through chemotherapy, their skin color has totally changed. They're finding it difficult to get back into life. But you had a full mastectomy, and now you are remarried. People think, how can you remarry? What is the guy holding on to? That kind of thing. There's always that person that once I have a mastectomy, nobody wants to marry me. I become this dejected person. How did you stay happy? And
stay beautiful
and attractive to marry, to be an Olori, not just an ordinary wife. Olori, married to an Oba. Hey, madam, please talk to us.
Well, my husband is, quote, the best gift after cancer. He stood by me through the end of the challenge, and we worked through it together. Mastectomy is not the end of the world because you can always have a reconstruction. And then the beauty is way beyond that. It's a combination of your personality, what you are inside, what you have to offer the entire universe. That is what beauty is, not just about
looking glam.
Yeah.
So I know you have a foundation, Maria Sam.
Yes.
Combination of your mother and your father's name.
name.
And I know you lost your mom when you were very little. So you've really been through life and you're waxing strong. I really, appreciate the strength that God has given you. So what is your foundation doing to help people prevent and treat cancer?
Well, we've been doing a lot of screening. In fact, we've done a lot. We've screened over 200,000 women.
Wow.
We've discovered that men too have breast cancer, not just women. At least in the course of screening, we've discovered over 4 men with breast cancer. So today we're in Balogun Market, we're screening. Yes.
The foundation is handling
The foundation is handling. They're already there. They're already working. I'll just
We have to round up soon. I just need you to send a message, because one of the reasons why we wanted you to share your story, so we to let them understand that this cancer is real. I read your story and I realized that chemotherapy was so painful. It was like you felt like you've actually died going through those 6 sessions. People need to understand the impact of what these things does to people so that they can be pushed to go out there and get treated and get tested early. So can you just paint a picture of what you went through and how you are now so that people can have a better understanding?
Well, I had chemotherapy 2006. This is 2018. Research have worked. They've discovered a lot of things. Chemo is not as bad as it used to be. When I had it the first time, I was unconscious for over 3 hours. My body was prepped by they gave me steroids and everything, but that still did not prepare my body for the root shock. Things are not as bad as it used to be. Like they gave me Red Devil for the next 1 week. Once you've had that, you're constantly, everything in you comes out red. Your urine, everything comes out. For 4 or 5 days, you won't be able to sleep, you won't be able to eat, you can't.
So they can't survive too?
Yes. No, it's even better. It's not as bad as it used to be. You shouldn't be afraid anymore. They keep getting better by the day. Research keeps moving forward. And apart from that, there are people that have also survived. I don't know. They say without chemotherapy.
Your sister recently passed on.
Yes.
We heard of a relapse. Are you afraid of a relapse? Or what happened in her case that there was a relapse that she passed on recently?
Well, number one, my sister's cancer case was not that open. It was not brought to the public because she wanted to keep it private, which I really do respect. And there are no 2 people that are the same. I'm more open about it. Well, some people do have relapses, some don't. And why would you believe you'll be the one that
have that
actually...
relapse?
And I don't even know because, as I said, my own thing is keep positive, believe God. God is sovereign. He has the last say. If it's time, it's time. If it's not time, it's not time. So don't suffer in silence. Don't keep quiet. Do everything you can to make sure you fight and beat cancer. Don't let cancer beat you.
Oh, thank you, ma.
I think with that, we can end the show. Thank you so much, Ma, for coming. I appreciate your story. And we wish you the best of health. And those of you out there who are probably diagnosed, it's not the end of the world. You can still live again. And those who haven't even checked at all, who don't want to wait, whatever I don't know, do not kill me. Well, what you know, you can fight, according to what our guests have told us. So go get checked. Tomorrow is the end of the breast cancer month, but doesn't mean that we can't celebrate breast cancer. Continually talk about it. Get tested. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.